Can we start, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Sure. Hare Krishna devotees, on behalf of Hare Krishna Temple of Cedar Park, I welcome you for this joyous occasion of celebrating Gaura Purnima. Actually, please preparation for celebrating Gaura Purnima. So we will have an opportunity to immerse ourselves in the divine pastimes of Mahaprabhu, starting from today and until end of this week, until Friday. Saturday we'll have the actual Gaura Purnima festival. Until Friday, from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., we will share and relish Mahaprabhu's enchanting pastimes. As you all know, the celebration is online only, so make sure to connect from your convenience of your home. With that, I would like you to introduce the speaker of today. Is none other than our favorite Siksha Guru, His Grace, Sri Satya Sara Prabhu. So Prabhu doesn't need any introduction, but just for my own purification. So Prabhu is a temple president and also also a Siksha Guru for thousands and thousands of people, including me. So it is my pleasure to welcome Prabhu to this occasion, and with let's all welcome Sichara Prabhu by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, Prabhu. Over to you.
Thank you, Prabhakaran Prabhu. Thank you everyone for joining. So, as Prabhakaran Prabhu said, we have assembled here to glorify Lord Chaitanya as his most auspicious, most divine appearance day. Gaura Purnima is coming up soon, which is this Sunday, March 24th. And many devotees, as Prabhakaran Prabhu said, are going to glorify Lord Chaitanya and his pastimes in coming days leading up to Gaura Purnima. So today, I would like to focus on some of the essential principles or tattva. Tattva means principles. Of course, it's much deeper than principles, but the essential principles of Lord Chaitanya's appearance or descent. So the why we need to understand the principles, because I would like to lay this foundation for devotees. They're going to speak wonderful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in coming days. I just want to lay down this platform where we understand, at least try to understand the tattva. Because if you understand the Lord in tattva, in principles, then that is the perfection of our birth, our human life. Krishna says a beautiful verse in Bhagavad Gita confirming this. He says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mamiti so Arjuna. Meaning, evam yo veti tattvataha. So Krishna is saying that if we know Krishna or his actions in tattva, then we will not take birth again in this world. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mamiti so Arjuna. So then understanding, so tattva means, I just want to put it simply. Tattva means understanding Krishna and his pastimes. It's not only Srila Prabhupada says in one of the lectures, it's not just understanding Krishna. It is also applying that understanding. That means realizing Krishna. So that's what tattva. Tattva means twofold, theoretical knowledge and the realized knowledge, both. So the realization comes when you apply that understanding. So realizing Krishna in tattva is the deepest subject matter of pure devotional service. Because if we get to understand Krishna in tattva, our life completely changes. Our consciousness becomes completely pure, and the very purpose of our being will be purified. So now, if this is the case for Krishna, then we can understand how difficult it is to understand the position of Lord Chaitanya. So why? Because he is described as a Channa avatar. Channa avatar means concealed incarnation or hidden incarnation. At least Krishna displays his sweetness more and his power and his sweetness in Vrindavan pastimes. But Lord Chaitanya doesn't exhibit the power like Krishna exhibits. So he is hidden. So we are going to discuss this more in detail. But if we become fortunate enough to understand Lord Chaitanya in Tattva and apply it in our day-to-day life, then as per the verse I just quoted, Janma Karma Chume Divyam, we will not take birth again in this material world. Because there is no difference between Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna. They are one and the same. So with that, let us all sincerely pray that may Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada and all our acharyas bless us so we can understand the principles of Lord Chaitanya's descent, Lord Chaitanya's position, his mood and mission for which he appeared to benedict humanity with the most valuable gift, a pure love for Krishna as practiced by the Vrajavasis. So that's our prayer. From starting today all the way to Gaura Purnima and coming years. So with that, I would like to recite Lord Chaitanya's Pranam Mantra to start with. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha. So translation, O most munificent incarnation, you are Krishna himself appearing as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden color of Srimati Radharani and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So with that, I would like to read from Srimad Bhagavatam, a beautiful verse from 12th canto, 3rd chapter, 51st verse, as you see on the screen. So before that, let's chant the prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kale dosha nide rajan asti ye eko mahan guna kirtanat eva krishnasya mukta sangha param rajet. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada's disciples. Translation, O my dear king, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Sakshurun Militamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurundina Taranam. So basically, I prayed to the Guru Parampara, I prayed to the Acharyas in the Parampara, Diksha Gurus and Siksha Gurus, so that they can bless, so that we can understand this verse and the following, in the verses that I'm going to quote in the class in a proper mood and the mood of service. So with that, this verse comes in the last section of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the, as I said, in the 12th canto. And this is the concluding canto where we have a description of the age of Kali. And also in this canto, we have a final destruction is explained, Mahapralaya. That is when Brahma's life, Brahma is the creator, secondary creator of this world. So when Brahma's life ends, the whole universe is destroyed. So in one sense, it is the conclusion of everything where all the universes are completely destroyed. So it is beautifully explained in 12th canto. But similarly, when we go through the yuga cycles, the cosmic time scale, so when we come to the period of time, it is called Kali Yuga. So we get some sort of destruction also. So that cosmic time scale is divided into 4 periods or 4 parts. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara, and Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, which we are in currently, so we have a predominance of adharma. Adharma means irreligious activities is very predominant in Kali Yuga. And the destruction of dharma is also predominant. So both go. So it's like an imbalance. Adharma increases, dharma goes down. Irreligiosity increases, religiosity decreases. So, in fact, we see the hint of the problem at the end of Dwapara Yuga also. Dwapara Yuga comes before Kali Yuga, with the appearance of many of you or all of you heard about Duryodhana, the appearance of the evil Duryodhana and his brothers. So we have like a prayer manifestation of Kali Yuga. Because a little bit about Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is a period in a cosmic time scale where the total overall disorder and degradation is given, meaning the jivas are the souls who want to have a wholesale enjoyment, sense gratification, and denying the existence of God or not practicing the religious principles. Those souls take birth in Kali Yuga, in the cosmic time scale. So, so that's the nature of Kali Yuga. So that is then right after Krishna went back to spiritual world, Srimad Bhagavatam describes that all the inauspicious symptoms started to manifest in the world. Of course, there is not immediate destruction of everything at that time, but there is a gradual destruction of dharma, bhakti, and all those things started to happen in the world. So though there is a gradual destruction throughout Kali Yuga, there are also good portion or good quality in Kali Yuga. That's what this verse is talking about. And there is also a mention in Brahma Vivarta Purana. It's one of the Puranas. And it is described that 5,000 years after Krishna's disappearance will be the beginning of Kali Yuga. So the Purana says that. And then when Kali Yuga starts, then 10,000 years from that point onwards, there will be a conducive environment for religious practice or bhakti practice. So that's why Srila Prabhupada often mentions in his lectures that 10,000 years ISKCON will be present. So we, the jivas who are very fortunate enough to come in contact with Prabhupada and his disciples and his movement, we have to really take up bhakti process seriously and just go back to Krishna within this 10,000 years. Because in that 10,000, in that period in Kali Yuga, we have a restoration of dharma and bhakti. So Mahaprabhu came, established Sankirtana movement, and all his associates came and they just enhanced the bhakti movement. Then of course after that Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and our Srila Prabhupada, the greatest acharyas, appeared to establish bhakti a more easy way for us to follow. And after Prabhupada, his disciples, sincere disciples. So all these things are available now, but after 10,000 years, it won't be very prominent. After that, then the rest of the 400,000 years or more in Kali Yuga, there is more and more decline of bhakti practice, decline of dharma, and Mahabhagavat devotees are gone. So it's very, it's going to be tough after 10,000 years. So now there is still some bhakti, but of course, even after 10,000 years, there will be bhakti practice, devotees will be there, but it won't be very prominent, very few left. So we have the, that's why if you read Bhagavatam at the end, there is a Kalki avatar, the avatar of the Lord, whose name is Kalki, appears towards the end of Kali Yuga. And you might have seen the famous depiction of Kali riding around on his horse with his sword, killing all the evil people and protecting the dharmic people or protecting the devotees who are left. Then after this Kali Yuga, again the Satya Yuga begins. Satya Yuga is a golden age where people are more religious, more truthful, more honest, and they practice bhakti sincerely and so on. So when we come to Satya Yuga, then we'll find there is a full manifestation of religious system again, or dharma again. And the descendant of Manu. Manu is a father of mankind. He's a great king, the empowered kings. So the descendant of Manu, who is hiding in Himalayas, will manifest himself in Satya Yuga, and then he will rule over the earth. So if you come back to Kali Yuga comes 1,000 times in a day of Brahma. And in all these Kali Yugas, there is a very bad situation, not only in our Kali Yuga, now currently, but in all Kali Yugas. But even in this bad situation of Kali, the Lord makes arrangement for self-realization. Very, very important. So this shows the merciful nature of the Supreme Lord Krishna. As I said, that cosmic time scale is divided into 4 parts. In the first part, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga, the 4 parts. And in other yugas, other than Kali Yuga, we have Dharma and we have these Manus and Manus descendants who are called Raja Rishis, saintly kings. And the kings are, are considered to be vibhutis of the Lord. Vibhuti means they are given special power to make sure that everybody, all people of the world follow the bhakti process. So they are given special power by the Lord to rule over the human beings. So the descendants of Manus, the kings, are not only dharmic, religious, but they're also devotees of the Lord. They're also bhaktas. So it is not difficult to establish the religious practice for the age. That is called Yuga Dharma. So these kings, they establish Yuga Dharma, or they make sure that everybody follows the Yuga Dharma for each of those yugas. But when you come to Kali Yuga, is the worst yuga, as I explained. So no more kings authorized by Manu's descendants are available. Are you seeing any kings available who are ruling the country or something? No. In Kali Yuga, you cannot see any kings. Yes, the royal families exist, but they won't have the power to rule people. And they're not authorized by Manus or Manu's descendants. Therefore, in Kali Yuga, naturally the dharma is minimal, because there's no one to really make us follow. So in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that's what the analogy is given to the 4 legs of a bull, and only 1 leg is left in Kali Yuga. In other words, there is 1/4 of dharma intact in Kali Yuga, and the rest is adharma. So that is why this verse, the Bhagavatam verse, that the Kali is an ocean of faults, it's an ocean of sin. But even in this ocean of sin, there is one good quality, it says. So we may ask, well, it is so sinful, how could there be any good qualities? So this is an arrangement of the Lord. The Lord makes arrangement in all yugas. We see there is a Yuga Dharma for Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga. And there is a Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga also. Very, very important. But another causeless mercy of the Lord for people of Kali Yuga is that even though the kings, that the Manus doesn't exist, or the descendants of Manu, they don't exist, still the Yuga Dharma or religious practice for the age can still go on intact. That's the mercy of the Lord. In other yugas, you need to have the Manus and descendants of Manus to make sure the people follow it. But in Kali Yuga, you don't need those kings actually. Still the Yuga Dharma can go on. That Lord makes arrangement. So what is the Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga? It is explained in this verse. It is Sankirtan. Kirtanat eva Krishnasya. Very important. Because it is the Dharma for the whole Yuga. So here in this verse says that by the Yuga Dharma of Kirtan, you can attain the Supreme Lord. Just by practicing Sankirtan, one can attain the Supreme Lord. Just as you can attain the Lord in Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Treta Yuga, you can attain the Lord in Kali Yuga also, just by practicing Sankirtan. In spite of the fact the conditions are worse, you can still achieve the goal in Kali Yuga. How is that possible? People are less qualified and there is a sinful environment. Living is very difficult in Kali Yuga. We all experience that. The lifespan is very short. People are not intelligent. People are always fighting. Still, you can get the highest result. So that shows the great power of Sankirtan process. That's another point in this verse. And this Kali Yuga is very, very special compared to other Kali Yugas. Why? Because there will be Krishna Kirtan. That is only happens in once in day of Brahma. Very, very important. Kirtanat eva Krishnasya. Huh? So not just the names. Kirtan, Sankirtan means, okay, let me explain this. Kirtan means to glorify or glorifying the Lord. Sankirtan means there are two meanings to it. Sankirtan, Sang means coming together and glorifying the Lord together. Congregational chanting of Lord's glories. That's one meaning of Sankirtan. Sankirtan means, San also means complete. It's a complete glorification of the Supreme Lord. You can understand it both ways. So that's why book distribution is also called Sankirtan. Why? Because we use body, mind, intelligence, and all the paraphernalia in glorifying the Lord by distributing the book. So that comes under the Sankirtan, glorifying the Lord. Huh? So in this Kali Yuga, not just the names of the Lord is chanted or glorified, but particularly Krishna's name is glorified in this age. So this makes this particular Kali Yuga very, very special. So not only we can get the spiritual world, but we can also get to Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan. That is the highest attainment in spiritual perfection. So that is possible just by chanting Krishna's holy name. So this is the bonus of this particular Kali Yuga that we are living in. So you can understand how fortunate we are. In Srimad Bhagavatam, we have descriptions of different types of avatars. If you see from the first canto, even to all the way to 10th canto, where we talked about Krishna's pastimes and so on, there's a different avatar, different types of avatars are beautifully described. The avatars means incarnation of God, incarnation of Krishna, who appeared throughout the day of Brahma. So then one may ask, why Lord has to appear throughout the day of Brahma? So they come in every age, every yuga, in order to free his devotees from repeated birth and death cycle and to vanquish the evil people. And also to establish religious principles. There is a very famous verse in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I come in every millennium just to do these three things: to protect my devotees, to kill the miscreants, to destroy the miscreants, to establish religious principles. So the nature of the material world is such that even in Satya Yoga is not perfect. So therefore, that's why we see demons in Satya Yuga also. So Hiranyaksha comes and Hiranyakashipu. So all these powerful demons come in Satya Yuga also. So Satya Yuga is also not perfect. Because people in the material world, it doesn't matter which yuga you are in. Of course, Kali Yuga is, as I said, it is like a total disorder and total degradation is given in the age. But regardless of any yuga you are in, people tend to disobey the scriptures. Why is that? The material world is subjected to time and destruction, and everything tends towards destruction only. So that's why we start from full dharma to complete adharma. So continually the Lord has to come to this material world and restore the dharma, restore the religious system, restore the different yoga systems for the jivas to continue on with practice of bhakti. So this arrangement, so that is this arrangement for counteracting the bad qualities. So 1,000 times in a day of Brahma, because there are 1,000 yuga cycles, there is a restoration of dharma. And then there is a nice holiday for nighttime of Brahma. Then he starts the whole another cycle of Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. But all these yugas are destructible. That's the nature of the material world. So that then at the end of life of Brahma, the whole universe perish and everything goes and disappears. But the souls or the jivas want to stay in the material world and enjoy materially. So Brahma manifests material worlds again. They come in and all starts over very nice again, and then because of time, it is destroyed, and another creation, another destruction. Like this cycle continues. So within the destructive nature of, I'm going to put it like this, within the destructive nature of time and Prakriti, the Lord comes as avatar to deliver the people of this world, material world. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, we find descriptions of various avatars. How quickly I'll go through that. The Purusha avatars, that is Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Siradakshaya Vishnu. So the function of Purusha avatars is to make the universes intact and function. And without Purusha avatars, the universe will dismantle. Then we have Leela avatars who appear within the day of Brahma. They perform various pastimes. So why do they perform pastimes, Leela avatars? Because, of course, to establish dharma and to protect devotees and kill the demons and whatnot, and also to capture the hearts and minds of his devotees. And there's a very famous verse, Bhagavatam, Anugrahaya Krishna, Anugrahaya Bhaktanam, Manusyam Tanum Ashritam, Krishna says. In the sense, to show my anugraha to my bhaktas. Yes, I want to come for external reason, establish Yuga Dharma, kill evil people and protect my devotees. Yes, but more than that is I want to do stunning pastimes to attract the hearts and minds of my devotees. That is the internal reason for Lord to appear. So we see the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. It's a remarkable pastimes. Lord Narsinghadev, stunning form. Kurma avatar, Matsya avatar, Vamanadev, so beautiful pastimes of the Lord. Then we have another category of avatars called Manvantara avatars. So within the day of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantara periods. And Manu within and with his descendants, they rule for some period of time. So who is our present Manu? Anybody? Who is our present Manu? Vaivashvata Manu, exactly, Prabhu. Thank you. So it's a Vaivashvata Manu and his descendants, they rule for 71 Yuga cycles. So during the reign of Manu and his descendants, one avatar presides over those 71 Yuga cycles. One avatar of Krishna, that is Manvantara. Very important point to understand. So in Vaivashvata Manu Manvantara period, who is the avatar responsible for Vaivashvata Manu? It is Vamanadev. So he is manifest for this whole period, 71 Yuga cycles. So the Leela avatars appear, but they also disappear after their pastime is completed. They don't stay for long periods of time. But this Manvantara avatars, they stay around for 71 Yuga cycles. And of course, many Manvantara avatars are also Leela avatars. There's an overlap. So Vamana is also a Leela avatar, but he is also Manvantara avatar. So anyway, so then there is a Guna avatars beautifully described. That is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So they're responsible for the modes of material nature. Brahma is for passion. Vishnu is to maintain the universe. So it's, of course, is the mode of goodness, sattva. And Shiva is destructive power, who destroys the universe. And is ignorance, tamas. So which Vishnu is you are referring to in Guna avatar? Of 3 Purusha avatars. Shiradakshaya Vishnu. So then there is another category of avatars of the Lord, Shakti Avesh avatars. Basically, these are like jivas or souls who are given special powers to do some extraordinary thing on behalf of the Supreme Lord. So that's a Shakti Avesh avatar. There are 2 types. There is a indirect and direct. So the direct is the Lord himself, Sakshat Shakti Avesh avatar. In the sense, the Supreme Lord directly empowers a particular pure devotee to do certain things. And indirectly he just indirectly empowers them. So there are 2 types. But anyway, so we don't have time now to discuss that in detail. Then there is another variety or another category of avatar called Yuga avatar. The Yuga avatars' function is to propagate the Yuga Dharma. If the Yuga Dharma is there, then if it's not there, they establish Yuga Dharma for the age and they propagate it. So very, very important. So they appear in the yugas, one per yuga. So we know that there are 1,000 yuga cycles in one day of Brahma. So in one day of Brahma, we get 4,000 yuga avatars. Very different, and they are different in each yuga. Very important point. Okay, so in Satya Yoga, we have white form who propagates meditation, Hamsa avatar or Sukla avatar, however, different names given. Then in Treta Yuga, there is a form of the Lord. The 400 form is called Lord Yagna. He propagates the sacrifice or doing a fire sacrifice and offering the oblations in the fire to satisfy Vishnu or satisfy the Supreme Lord. That is the process in Treta Yuga, and he propagates that, and he is red in color. Then in Dwapara Yuga, the form is generally greenish color. But in our Dwapara Yuga, meaning in our Yuga cycle, before Kali Yuga, the Swayam Bhagavan Krishna appeared in blackish color. It's an exception. And he propagates deity worship. The Yuga Dharma for Dwapara Yuga is deity worship. Then in Kali Yuga, our Kali Yuga, the form is generally in Kali Yuga is dark in color, but in our Kali Yuga, it is golden color. And in any Kali Yuga, the avatar comes as dark in color, and usually he propagates Sankirtan. So people generally ask, our Kali Yuga, it is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but what about the previous Kali Yuga? It is a Gaura Narayana form. So we can discuss that later, but generally it's black in color, but in our Kali Yuga, it's an exception. So these Yuga avatars may be considered as the most common avatars because they appear 4,000 times in one day of Brahma. However, in the 28th cycle of Vaivashvata Manvantara, which I was talking about, in the Dwapara Yuga, instead of the Yuga avatar who is greenish in color, Krishna appears who is blackish. Krishna himself comes on the 28th cycle of Vaivashvata Manu. So, and in the 20th cycle of Vaivashvata Manu, in Kali Yuga, in a similar way, not blackish color avatar comes, but the golden avatar comes. That is Lord Chaitanya. Very, very important. Makes sense to you? So it is confirmed both in Shruti and Smriti Shastras. Shruti means directly spoken by the Lord. The scriptures directly spoken by the Lord. That is Shruti. Smriti means, of course, it is spoken by the pure devotees of the Lord as a supplemental scriptures to understand the Shruti scriptures. So both Shruti and Smriti Shastra confirms Lord Chaitanya's appearance. So some Puranas, even pretty much all the Puranas talk about Lord Chaitanya. So in fact, some Puranas give a very specific details about the Lord Chaitanya's appearance, especially in Garuda Puran. It gives an exact description of Lord Chaitanya's appearance in Kali Yuga. It says, Aham Purna Bhavishyami Yoga Sandhya Visheshataha Mayapure Nava Deepe Bhavishyami Sachisuttaha. Meaning, the translation is, in the first part of Kali Yuga, the Lord speaking in Garuda Puran, I will appear in my complete spiritual form in Mayapura, Navadvipa, Mandala, and become the son of Sachi Devi. So there are many, many references. And I just, in the interest of time, I'm just moving on. So this Kali Yuga is very, very special and fortunate Kali Yuga. You can remember, once in a day of Brahma, 20th cycle of Vaivashvata Manu, in Dwapara Yuga, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna appears in blackish color to propagate the Yuga Dharma, which is deity worship. Immediately after Krishna goes back to Goloka Vrindavan, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears in the next Kali Yuga in 28th cycle of Vaivashvata Manu, just to propagate the Sankirtan movement. When he comes in not in a blackish color, but he comes in golden color. Very, very important. So this Kali Yuga that we are in, it's a very fortunate Kali Yuga. That's why scripture says, Danya Kali Yugera Chaitanya Avatar. Danya means fortunate. Sri Chaitanya Avatar is the golden, the good fortune, Danya, of this Kali Yuga. He does not come in every Kali Yuga. He comes as the Yuga Avatar of Kali Yuga only once in a day of Brahma. You can understand that, how important. Huh? So therefore, like Krishna, Lord Chaitanya also, is Swayam Bhagavan. So we get a special Yuga Avatar to propagate Sankirtan Dharma, Yuga Dharma, in our Kali Yuga. Very, very important. So we get two exceptions. 20th cycle of Vaivashvata Mantra, Krishna appearing as Swayam Bhagavan, and Lord Chaitanya also appears in 20th cycle of Vaivashvata Manu. So two exceptions. Very, very important. Srimad Bhagavatam also confirms this. If you see the next verse, the 11th canto, 5th chapter, 31st verse. If you go next. So let me.
It's not there in that. Should I project it from
Yes.
Veda base?
No, close it and open it again. Sorry, we have a technical problem. So this is the confirmation in Srimad Bhagavatam. Acharyas quote this verse a lot. Krishnam varnam tvisha Krishnam sangopangastra parshadam yagnai sankirtana priya yajanti iso medasaha. So, as you see the translation, in the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. So in this verse, again, it says Krishna Varnam, which means Krishna in color. But it says Akrishnam, which means the opposite of Krishna's color. So it is not blackish. So then it means the opposite. Instead of being blackish, he is opposite, pale in color. So he is Gauranga, golden. So our acharyas take this verse to confirm that Lord Chaitanya is the Yuga Avatar. Very, very important point. So he is opposite of blackish, he is pale in color or golden in color, and still he is not a Shakti Vesh Avatar. He is Krishna Varnam. So Krishna Varnam, there's another meaning. He is a class of Krishna. So this means that Lord Chaitanya is none other than Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. So this is the proof point. Important. So therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes that Krishna himself transformed into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he is not an expansion of an expansion. He is directly Krishna himself. So Krishna Varnam can also mean he is in the same category as Krishna, but color is different. So that's another understanding. So in this verse, also this activity is described. Each avatar usually has a special activity that makes him special. So we can always identify the avatar by his activity. For instance, the activity of Varahadev is to lift the Bhumandala out of Garbhodak ocean. So this verse, if you see the activity of Kali Yuga avatar, so the activity is Sankirtan. Yagnai Sankirtana Priya. Very important. So we can, so as I explained, Kirtan means glorification of anything about the Lord. So we can glorify the pastimes of Krishna. So that is called Leela Kirtan. For example, every day you read Bhagavatam, that is Kirtan. That is a Leela Kirtan because you are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, glorifying the Lord's pastime. And there is something called the qualities. You can glorify the qualities of the Lord. That is called Guna Kirtan. Guna means qualities. We can also glorify the form of the Lord. That is called Rupa Kirtan. But all of these, if you want to do Leela Kirtan, Guna Kirtan, or Rupa Kirtan, then you need to it needs some little bit of skill you need to have, because you need to know the Sanskrit and you need to understand the Sanskrit verses or Acharya's commentary. You need to have some knowledge about all these types of the qualities of the Lord, the pastimes of the Lord, and the rupa of the Lord. And you may have to memorize some verses to glorify. But if you see, the people of Kali Yuga are not very qualified. Huh? They're not at all qualified, because Srimad Bhagavatam defines the people of Kali Yuga. It says, Manda Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya I Upadrutaha. Meaning, in the iron age of Kali, the men are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed in the mind. The mind is always disturbed. So how can the people of this age of Kali, with all these defects or deficiency, can do Lila Kirtan, Guna Kirtan, and Rupa Kirtan in a most effective way? It is impossible. So the simplest method of Kirtan is recommended for people of Kali Yuga. So that is called Nama Kirtan or Nama Sankirtan. Srimad Bhagavatam confirms this. 12th canto, 13th chapter, 23rd verse. I don't have that verse here. I forgot, but just remembered. Nama Sankirtanam Yashya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Samanas Tam Namami Harim Param. It says, meaning, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Hari, the congregational chanting of whose holy names destroys all sinful reactions. Nama Sankirtanam Yashya Sarva Papa Pranashanam. And the offering of obeisances unto whom relieves all material suffering. So we cannot do other kirtan, but the easiest method of kirtan, which gives the complete full result, is Nama Sankirtan, and that is recommended for Kali Yuga people. You just sing the holy names of Krishna, and you don't have to know Sanskrit grammar. You don't need to memorize the verses. You don't need to know Vedas. You don't need to know Upanishads. You don't need to know Samhitas. You don't need to know Tantra. You don't need to know all those things. You just need to just recite the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the simplest possible method of Kirtan. I would say this is the greatest innovation of spirituality that Mahaprabhu has given us, Lord Chaitanya has given us. So this is the general method for people of Kali Yuga. Therefore, it is called Yuga Dharma. So the chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is the Yuga Dharma to attain the highest perfection in life. So chanting is not some man-made, concocted thing. It is scriptural. So that's why I'm just quoting, using Bhagavatam as a pramana. I'm just making a point that chanting is not something imaginative. It is recommended in the scriptures, and it is Yuga Dharma. And chanting Maha Mantra is the highest. And this verse says, this is performed by the intelligent people. The intelligent person will not say no to chanting. They will take up chanting the Maha Mantra in this age of Kali. So that's why it says, Sumedhasaha. So those who are very fortunate to have faith, they will chant the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And this Nama Sankirtana is also called Yagna according to this verse. Yagna means generally worship. But we also see in this verse, Yajanti is there. Yajanti isu medasaha. The last line. So which means worship. So Yagna also comes from the root word yaj. So Yagna is a type of worship, but in this case, the word worship is already there. Yajanti. So they worship by Sankirtana Yagna. So Yagna is translated as sacrifice. Very, very important. So normally the Yagna, this Yagna means sacrifice, fire sacrifice. So we did in our temple, Narshinga Yagna. We just lit the fire, and Dhruva Prabhu was there, and we are reciting the holy names of Lord Narshingadev and offering the oblations in the fire to satisfy Lord Narshingadev. We did that. And that kind of a yagna, of course, is highly recommended for or Yuga Dharma for Treta Yuga people. Because in Treta Yuga, people are very qualified and they could perform the yajna properly, and they had a knowledge of all the mantras, all the samhitas, and their knowledge of the procedures of the sacrifice. So it was very, very easy for everybody to do in Treta Yuga. But in Kali Yuga, as I explained, nobody is qualified. Nobody knows mantras. Nobody knows Upanishads. Nobody knows samhitas. Nobody knows tantras. Nobody knows how to do yajna properly. And there is no qualified, proper brahmanas exist in Kali Yuga, because everybody is a Sudra according to Shastra. So therefore, it cannot be executed in Kali Yuga. So instead of that, we have Nama Sankirtan, Sankirtana Yajna. That is most powerful. Just chanting the holy names of Krishna, that's enough. So chanting the holy names of the Lord takes the place of yajna in Kali Yuga. Sometimes people are very attracted to fire sacrifices without knowing the scripture. Unfortunately, this is the wrong yuga for fire sacrifice. Yes, you get some spiritual benefit, but you won't get the precise effect. That is only in Treta Yuga you get full benefit. So rather than be attracted to doing a fire sacrifice, we should be attracted to chanting Krishna's holy name to get the full benefit. You get the full benefit of doing all kinds of sacrifices, taking bath in all the holy rivers, and visiting all the holy tirthas, all the holy places. Everything you get just by chanting the Krishna's holy name in this Kali Yuga. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya has come as the golden avatar, but non-different from Krishna. It teaches, establishes the Sankirtana movement as a process for spiritual development in Kali Yuga, especially this Kali Yuga. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya disseminated the holy name, no matter how quarrelsome, how lazy, how misguided, how unlucky, how disturbed we may be. We can easily chant Hare Krishna mantra with perceptible spiritual results. Pratyaksha avagamam dharmyam. You directly experience the satisfaction, the spiritual happiness, the presence of the Lord in your heart just by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra in this disturbed environment. This is that easy. I also want to make this point. Just because chanting of the holy Mahamantra is easy and available, it doesn't mean it is lower. It is cheap. Usually the mentality of people in the metal world is that if you want to buy something for cheap, then we get cheap quality. If something is available in surplus, its price is low, it's cheap. That's the mentality of people in material world. But chanting the holy name of Krishna is opposite. It is most available to all kinds of people, regardless. And it is the most easiest process. Even the child can chant Hare Krishna mantra. Even the babies can chant. You don't need a PhD degree or master's degree or bachelor's degree or whatever. Anybody can chant. The most easiest, most open. There is no restriction of taking Upanayanam or taking a Diksha or taking born in a priest class, a Brahmana class. Nothing is needed. Everybody is qualified by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And it is the highest process because it gives the highest result. It gives us Krishna Loka. But it is the best. So it is the best bargain for everybody. So in fact, chanting the holy names of the Lord, generally people ask me, is it recommended in Vedas? Of course. Chanting the holy names of the Lord is prescribed in the Vedas as well. So even the word Om, Omkara is the name of the Lord. And Om is the principal mantra of the Vedas. The Gayatri mantra emanates or expands from the syllable Om. And Gayatri mantra expands into the Vedas. And it expands into Upanishads. And it expands into Vedanta Sutras. It expands into Srimad Bhagavatam. So in other words, the syllable Om, the word Om contains all the Vedas. If you understand the word Om, you understood the Vedas. So that's what the scripture says. So Om is the essence of all Vedas. That is also the name of the Lord. It represents Vishnu. It represents Krishna. The another name for Om is Pranava. So there is a beautiful statement in Rig Veda. It says, Om is non-different from Brahman. It says, Om iti etad Brahmano nidishtam. It's non-different from the Param Brahman. Om represents the Supreme Lord Krishna also. Krishna himself declares that in Bhagavad Gita. Vedyam pavitram omkara. He says, I am the object of knowledge, Vedyam. I am the purifier, the supreme purifier, Pavitram, and I am the syllable Om, Omkara. It's so unambiguous, very clear declaration Krishna makes. I am that syllable Om, and that is one of my names. Also, Krishna says, he is Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. I am the syllable Om in Vedic mantras. So what does Pranava means? If you do the literal translation of Pranava is to glorify the Lord. So similarly, Nama Sankirtan means to glorify. So Nama Sankirtan means to glorify the Lord by chanting his names. So the essence of the Vedas says Pranava, glorify the Supreme Lord Krishna. So the process of chanting is the universal process and for everyone of Kali Yuga. So it's not just recommended in Puranas or recommended by Acharyas. It is in the Vedas. So also Krishna wants to, so now we discussed about the Yuga Dharma. Lord Chaitanya came to establish Yuga Dharma. The Yuga Dharma is Nama Sankirtan, which is nothing but chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. But Krishna had another desire. He wants to teach Nama Sankirtan to others by personally practicing it as a devotee. So there's a beautiful sloka in Bharat Naradya Puran. It says, Bhagavad Bhakta Rupena Lokan Rakshami Sharvada. He says, I will deliver all the worlds, concealing myself in the form of a devotee. Bhagavad Bhakta Rupena Lokan Rakshami Sarvada. In the sense, in the form of the devotee of Lord in Kali Yuga. So I'll come as a Bhakta. So who is the perfect devotee of the Lord? It's Srimati Radharani. So when Krishna comes to this world, he comes with the whole Goloka Vrindavan. The Vraja comes with him. Meaning his associates from the spiritual world, they come with him to the material world to perform pastimes with Krishna. Then the Yamuna river comes, the Govardhan hill comes, the forest of Vrindavan comes. All the inhabitants of the forest of Vrindavan, they all come from Goloka Vrindavan. Why? Because so that Krishna can taste the 5 rasas of his pastimes, or the 5 mellows of transcendental loving relationship with his devotees. So although when he comes as Krishna Swayam Bhagavan in Dwapara Yuga, he performs various pastimes with his sweet devotees, he still has 3 unfulfilled desires, Acharyas say. And to fulfill those desires is the essential reason for Krishna's appearance as Lord Chaitanya. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you can see the outline, it beautifully described the desires of Krishna, actually the 3-fold desires of Krishna, which is not fulfilled or not fulfilled in Dwapara Yuga as Krishna. So he comes in Kali Yuga as Lord Chaitanya to fulfill those desires. It's very esoteric. I don't want to go into detail, but I just want to give a glimpse into that. There are 3 reasons. The first reason, very esoteric, or the first desire of Krishna, which is unfulfilled in Dwapara Yuga as Krishna performed the pastime, is he desires to experience the nature of Radharani's love. Radharani is living Krishna, and Krishna wants to experience what is she experiencing while loving me. The second desire of Krishna, which is to understand the wonderful qualities in Krishna that she relishes, she gets so attracted to. So what is in me that she sees that is so attractive? And the third desire is Krishna wants to know what is the bliss that Radharani feels by loving me so unconditionally, so intensely. So what is that bliss? So these are 3 unfulfilled desires of Krishna, and he wants to fulfill that in Lord Chaitanya's form. And also, of course, Krishna is a ocean of costless mercy and a ocean of the mellows of loving a relationship with his devotees. He wanted to also sprinkle those drops of special mercy on the jivas of Kali Yuga, the special Kali Yuga. So they would come, they'll get attracted to Krishna and they'll come to him and they serve him eternally in the spiritual world. That is another reason why Lord Chaitanya comes. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, but with mode of Radharani. There is a beautiful verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita which describes this. Radha Baba Duyuti Suvalitam Navami Krishna Swarupam, meaning Lord Chaitanya is Sri Krishna who appeared with Mahabhav of love of Sri Radharani. Just to understand Radha's love, the three desires I talked about, it comes in the form of Lord Chaitanya. So we get Radha and Krishna combined within Lord Chaitanya. So it's a remarkable form. It's a stunning form. You get Radha and Krishna together in Lord Chaitanya. So it's a very, very unique form. So you manifest himself with the sentiment and the mood and the complexion of Radharani. Krishna manifests all power and he manifests all sweetness in his pastimes in Vrindavan. And he manifests, of course, all mercy also. Therefore, the powers, sweetness, and mercy of Krishna will also be available in Lord Chaitanya because Lord Chaitanya is non-different from Krishna, isn't it? But when we have sweetness, the power gets diminished. So it doesn't show so much. If you see in Krishna's pastime in Vrindavan, he is a loving son to his parents. He is a loving friend to his friends. He is a beloved for the gopis. So he shows the sweetness more. So when we have power, the sweetness disappears. So in Krishna avatar, Krishna Leela, the prominence is sweetness, madhurya. So the power gets a little bit hidden behind the sweetness in Vrindavan Leela, in Krishna Leela. And Lord Chaitanya, what is prominent? The mercy is prominent. So therefore, the mercy takes the form of Sankirtana movement, where Lord Chaitanya delivers all the jivas of Kali Yuga and gives them the highest prema bhakti through chanting of the holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we can say that that is the difference between Krishna's form and Lord Chaitanya's form. Very important. So we say Krishna is madhurya, complete sweetness. And Lord Chaitanya is complete audarya. Audarya means compassion, mercy, generosity. So the mercy of Lord Chaitanya ultimately is that he delivers madhurya, the sweetness of Radha and Krishna to all the jivas. See how audarya manifests madhurya. So Lord Chaitanya is prominently audarya, and through his audarya, the jivas or souls can realize the sweetness of Radharani and the sweetness of Krishna. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya also got this sweetness in him because he delivers Radharani and Krishna to the people of Kali Yuga. Since Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself, but he appears as a devotee of the Lord, so therefore he is also called Channa Avatar. As in the beginning of the class, I explained that briefly, concealed or covered incarnation. There's a beautiful prayer Prahlad Maharaj prays in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Channo kalo yad abhavastri yuga ata sattvam. Meaning, what he says it, in Kali Yuga, Prahlad is glorifying Lord Nrsimhadev, saying that you do not assert yourself as Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, you are known as Tri Yuga. Why? Because Channa Kaloyat, in the sense that you cover yourself in Kali Yuga. You don't show that I am Supreme Lord. So, and also another logically how we can understand is Lord Chaitanya looks like a sannyasi. He wears a saffron robe and he just goes from place to place and just preaches the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So in this way also he is Channa avatar. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya is many things. He is Yuga avatar. He is Radha and Krishna combined form. He is Krishna with the mood of Radharani or complexion of Radharani. And he is also Channa avatar. He is a concealed incarnation. Very important. I can just take maybe a couple more minutes to explain how Lord Chaitanya was exhibiting the pure love of Radharani in his life, and that's we can learn so much from that. If you see Lord Chaitanya in his last 12 years or so of his existence, the manifest pastime in this world, at Jagannath Puri, it is a place in India where Lord Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Maya, they are worshipped. There, if you see, Lord Chaitanya performed so many pastimes, and especially he taught us with how, with the feeling of separation, one can develop his dormant love for Krishna. So the Mahaprabhu was going to the temple of Jagannath Puri and then worshipping Jagannath deity, and he was crying profusely looking at Jagannath deity. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya was displaying the mood of the highest feelings of love of Radharani. Because when Krishna went to Mathura, then eventually to Dwarka, Radharani was feeling the pangs of separation from Krishna. And that is the mood Lord Chaitanya was displaying when he was seeing Lord Jagannath deity in Puri. It is the manifestation of Radharani's love and separation that you can see in Lord Chaitanya. Our great acharyas, we have such an exalted Mahabhagavat acharyas, completely realized. So the acharyas have beautifully explained the love between Lord Jagannath and Lord Chaitanya by revealing their deepest realizations. And so the essence of the form of Lord Jagannath is that it displays the acute separation from Radharani. There is many different the pastimes of Jagannath deity, how we manifested. Maybe we can discuss that some other time. But the actual representation of Jagannath is nothing but it displays the acute separation from Radharani. In other words, he's floating in the ocean of Radharani's love. He moved by the waves of loving emotions. So when Lord Chaitanya saw Lord Jagannath deity in Puri Dham, he was seeing Shamasundara Krishna playing his enchanting flute. That's what he was seeing. So one of the acharyas beautifully explains this. There are two crying forms in Puri. Lord Chaitanya, who is in the mood of Radharani, crying for Krishna. This is the first crying form you see in Jagannath Puri. Then the second is Lord Jagannath, who is in the mood of Krishna, crying for Radharani. This is the second crying form. So when Lord Chaitanya sees Lord Jagannath, Jagannath shows the Shamasundar form crying for Radharani. And when the Lord Jagannath sees Lord Chaitanya, he sees Radharani crying for Krishna. So in fact, this is the union of Radha and Krishna. So it is a very esoteric subject. I'm mentioning it in a very high level so we can understand the mood of Lord Chaitanya and the exhibition of the transcendental love between the Lord and his beloved devotee in the highest order. So that's what we see when Lord Chaitanya was, how he was interacting with Jagannath deity. So that's why if you read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, generally, sometimes he broke that, but generally Lord Chaitanya doesn't go very closer to Lord Jagannath deity for the reason that he won't be able to control his spiritual emotions for the Lord, and he will go into the state of complete transcendental ecstasy. So he decided to stand in a safe distance next to Garuda Stamba, or the pole where the Garuda stands and takes the darshan of the Lord. And Lord Jagannath, so Mahaprabhu stays at the distance and gets the darshan of Lord Jagannath. Again, there is so much to say about this particular pastime, why Lord stays next to Garuda Stamba, and so on, but we don't have time. It is already 8:07. I just want to respect everyone's time. So I just summarize it. So Lord Chaitanya appears in the material world, and as we see, he is Krishna, but he's also in the mood of Radharani. So the highest bliss of Radharani and Krishna in the spiritual world descends as Lord Chaitanya in the material world for all of us. And it manifests through the Sankirtana movement, which is chanting of the holy names of Krishna. And that is also the Yuga Dharma. It is a very special movement because it is expressing Radha and Krishna. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya gave us Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. In Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we have Krishna's name. And we have also Radharani's name, which is Hare. So our Sankirtan is not just chanting Krishna's name, we also glorify Radharani with that. Why? Because Radharani is more merciful than Krishna. So if we go through Radha, we can easily get to Krishna. So if we get the mercy of Radharani, and then we can get the mercy of Krishna. So this Mahamantra chanting is very, very, very special. Lord Chaitanya presented this mantra to deliver us, all of us in Kali Yuga. So the devotees in this Kali Yuga are very, very fortunate. So we all are fortunate. So this is the rarest gift of all. And therefore Lord Chaitanya is called Mahavadanyaya, the most munificent, the most merciful than Krishna himself. So we have to take up this process of chanting the holy names of the Lord and chant sincerely by following all the regulatory principles and doing various services, and please Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas. Then at the end we can go back to Goloka Vrindavan. So with that, I'll conclude my talk here. Thank you very much. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Gaura Purnima Mahotsav ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Antakoti Vaishnavanda ki jai. Over to you, Prabhakaran Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Sara Prabhu. I think you nicely summarized at the end of the presentation. So thank you so much for such a wonderful discourse about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And one thing that stood in my mind was like, you mentioned that Yuga Dharma can still go on even though there are no descendants of Manus. And still with the chanting, we can get the highest result. So that was really nice, Prabhu. Thank you so much for immersing us in the ocean of bliss. Thank you.
Sure, Prabhu. Can I have any questions? Can I take, or one question maybe? One or two is our tradition. Or maybe one question I'll take. Is it okay, Prabhakaran Prabhu?
Sure, Prabhuji. Sure.
Anybody has any question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you for the class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Aarti has a question on why other sampradayas don't worship Lord Chaitanya or his teachings or glorify him. You got muted, Prabhuji?
Yes. I mean, the chanting of the holy names is in again, it's practiced by all other sampradayas also. Madhavas practiced, Alvars practiced the Sankirtan process, chanting of the holy names, and Nimbargas, and everybody practices that. But why Mahaprabhu was not accepted in all the paramparas? Of course, Mahaprabhu appeared, and he was, as I said, he was enhancing the Yuga Dharma, he established, and he was also propagating the Yuga Dharma. On all other sampradayas, they have acharyas as well, very bona fide acharyas. And they have come and they preached Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Smaranam. These are the three most important process for Kali Yuga. So Kirtan is always there in all the sampradaya process. It's not that you have to accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go to Krishna Loka. You can go through other Vaishnava Acharya, bona fide Vaishnava Acharyas as well. Because at the end of the day, all the Vaishnava Sampradaya, just the process of all the Vaishnava Sampradayas is Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Smaranam. So you glorify the Lord by chanting his, its glories, his names, and remembering him. Then you can go back to him. So that process is always there. And all the bona fide, for example, in Sri Sampradaya, Shripad Ramanujacharya established the process of self-realization, which Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Smaranam. And of course, all nine Navavida Bhakti as well. So similarly, all the bona fide Sampradayas, they have Acharyas, and they also establish the same process. But in Gaudiya Sampradaya, there's more prominence is given to Krishna Kirtan, Nama Sankirtan, because we go to Krishna Loka. Right? But the Kirtan is a process for all the Vaishnava, four bona fide Vaishnava Sampradayas. Make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you for the question, Mataji.
So it's 8:13, Prabhu. So
Okay, we'll conclude here. Thank you very
cool.
much, everyone. If you have any questions, you can send me offline. I will answer that as well.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I took some extra time.